Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Real Reds Talk, an authentic football fan channel made in Manchester. Today is the day of Ruben Amorim's first game in charge, and we are going to try and piece this team that is on your screen right now together. And just have a conversation basically. Who's going to fit what role? Who's going to play where? Because it quite literally is a jigsaw. I'm trying to figure out in my head whilst I'm reading this out now. But anyway, I'll read the team out for you, and then me, Shreyas, and Dan will give it a good go. So. We've got Onana in net. The back three is Evans, De Ligt, and Mazraoui. Then you have Amad Diallo as a right wing back. You have Diego Dalot as a left wing back. You have Eriksen and Casemiro in the midfield. And then you have Garnacho and Bruno as your attacking midfielders, wingers, whatever you want to call them. And then Marcus Rashford starting up top. So no Rasmus Højlund, first and foremost. No Ugarte. No Kobe, no Yoro, no Shaw, none of these players. Maybe a couple was expected. But Shreyas, just talk to me about that team first and foremost. That's a big surprise, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And, before I get into the team as well, the graphics are so new. When the screen popped, it caught me by surprise. So, yeah, the graphics are really good.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I'm quite glad that, there are as many changes to the team, because I think a lot of us expected a bit different lineup in a lot of positions, I would say, for that matter. Whether it's the wing backs, whether it's the centre backs, or even the front three, I would say. And I think it's a bit nice because he's gone with something that none of us were expecting. I think every single person would have bet their house on the fact that Ugarte will start because it's his player and he will be getting a go ahead in this game. But he's gone with Casemiro and Eriksen, so there are definitely a few changes. Maybe it's also got to do with the fact that you're coming up against a team like Ipswich. So you need a midfielder in there who can actually retain the ball a lot better, who can keep hold of the ball, maintain possession, and while making those sort of passes into the forward line, is able to do those passes in a very calculated manner. So might be the reason why he's gone with someone like Eriksen over Ugarte, because Ugarte doesn't excel when it comes to making those sort of forward passes. He's someone who does the cleanup work much better. So Casemiro and Eriksen for sure. I think I think as a partnership, especially now that we've gone with the back three, I think it can hold a lot better. Ahmad as an inverted wing back, I'm very excited to see, because Ahmad is a type of a winger, I would say, who actually knows how to stretch the play, how to actually maintain the width while we are moving the ball forward as well. And I think I think the interesting part for me would be to how he forms that partnership with Garnacho on that right hand side.
Yeah.
Because when he's moving forward, if he's able to find Garnacho around the box, Garnacho will find a lot of joy in the box. And Ahmad excels in getting balls into the box and dribbling through players. And his technical ability on the ball, everyone actually knows how good he is. And Dallo as well. I think when it comes to maintaining that, I would say the attacking side of things, I think Dallo is quite good. So I do get why he's gone with that sort of partnership as the wing backs. When you look at the centre back department, I expected Evans to start. Evans has been really good ever since he's come in. He's been solid, hasn't really put a foot wrong. De Ligt had to be in there, because I think in a back three you need that sort of physical figure who's very good and can actually lead the charge from the front line. So I do think that he'll be quite decent in that sort of a partnership, and he has featured in these sort of back threes before, whether it's from the Netherlands, whether it's even for the likes of Juventus. So he has some experience playing in these sort of partnerships. Mazraoui is a curveball, which I wasn't really expecting in that centre back department, because I do know he's very good on the ball, but I expected him to play as a wing back. But I think apart from that, most of the things were what we expected.
UTFR's just put in the chat. Personally, I'm extremely confused. I don't think you're the only one, mate. There's a lot of people trying to puzzle this together. But Dan, what's the biggest surprise for you, at least, out of that? Who's playing?
For me, was Eriksen, because I didn't expected him to start, because I was thinking in the defense line. So that's my only one of the concerns. And I think with the lineup, I think this will be more kind of a 1 and 2 rather than 2 and 1, because Garnacho, I don't think he can discipline himself to stay behind the striker. So he'll be always be towards the the goal. So I think that's where it's going to be. But yeah, I expected Højlund to start, because this system kind of can work very well with Højlund. And Ahmad, I'm very happy with like him getting the game time here. And with Mazraoui I think he was a surprise on starting on as a defender. But I think lot will change after 60 minutes
Oh
because
yeah.
the setup
Yeah.
has been kind of a trial one, because at least 2 to 3 players are on the bench who should be starting this game. So let's see how it works out.
I think there's going to be a lot of fluidity in this line because you could take almost any player in that setup and switch positions with someone, and
Yeah.
you'll probably be comfortable in that
Yeah.
area. So on the graphic itself, you've got, and what it's saying in the lineups is you've got Mazraoui as a right-sided centre half, but you could swap him with Mazraoui with Dallo, for example, put him in there.
Yeah.
Delict can shift over, Casemiro can drop back a little bit. Same thing with Garnacho. Garnacho could swap with Ahmad maybe sometimes when Ahmad pushes forward, Bruno dropping into the midfield, Eriksen pushing forward. A lot of fluidity. I'm surprised. Eriksen's one where I'm like, did not even have him on my mind when we was trying to create these teams and we was doing the preview. I think Ahmad is the standout one as a wing back, how that's going to kind of work, because we were speaking about yesterday, Shreyas, as well, where like the wingers, one of them's a lot more advanced, aren't they, than the other side, which I'm guessing is going to be Ahmad, because obviously Dallo's more naturally
Yeah.
defensive. So if Ahmad's pushing forward, do you have faith he can do a good job in that role?
I think he can, and I think this sort of a profile fits perfectly to the way he actually plays. And when you've got someone like Ahmad trying to maintain the width, and then you've got someone like Garnacho, occupying the half spaces, and to be very honest, you'd never even know whether it's Garnacho who is going to be paired with. Maybe it's Bruno who he's paired with, and I think if it's the combination of Bruno Fernandes and Ahmad, I think that would be a lot more stable, because both of them, they are very creative, and both of them are very good scanners in the box. So when they need to find each other, or when Bruno is trying to make a run into the half space, Ahmad can find him, because he's very good when when he has to find the person who's making that run into the box. So maybe it's Ahmad and Bruno who are going to trying to make that partnership. With Ahmad and Garnacho, the thing is, Ahmad might supply a lot of balls. Garnacho would not be doing as much passing work when it comes to finding Ahmad. So yeah, but I'm still very, very excited. Like, this is the first game in quite some time where, even though there are a lot of changes in the team that I wasn't expecting, but I'm still quite excited to see, actually, how it fares up against a team like Ipswich, who have beaten Spurs coming into this game, do have a lot of momentum, and they know how to score goals. Like Ipswich, I think when it comes to scoring goals, that's not their weak department. They've been very good when it comes to, progressing the ball forward. It's their back end that's leaking the goals. That's the biggest issue. So it's going to be a very exciting game.
Bruno Fernandes, Dan's the one that's exciting me the most high up, because one thing that he struggled with, or we've struggled with watching, is him almost being a headless chicken, and sometimes being at left back, sometimes being at centre back, and never actually being disciplined and being in that area. But having him as the kind of left attacking midfielder or right attacking midfielder, whatever however you want to kind of list it, expect a good performance from him today.
Yeah, definitely, and I hope that Amorim has ticked the check boxes for all the flaws that we could see in Bruno Fernandes play, especially with his heat map. When you see that it is all over the place, and if that is improved, if that is disciplined, then definitely Bruno Fernandes, we can get a lot of out of him. And especially when you compare him playing for United and playing for Portugal, you will see the heat map. It's a lot. I mean, you will see the proper disciplined heat map when he plays for Portugal, but it's not the same with Manchester United. I think if every player does his own job, then I think Bruno Fernandes can be more effective here. And I think the reason we started Garnacho and Rashford is because we have kind of a Ahmad, Bruno Fernandes, and Eriksen, who are well capable of putting ball in towards their opposition half. So I think that will be key. We will be seeing a lot of long balls today, early crosses, and a lot of through balls today. So that's where even Bruno Fernandes will be key.
Yeah. I want to touch on some concerns in a moment if we have any. Well, I've got a couple, but I want to ask you lads as well. But for anyone asking, Ipswich team: Muric, Twanzebe, O'Shea, Burgess, Davis, Morsey, Kajuste, Burns, Hutchinson, Schmodix, and Delap up top. Obviously, Delap's the main one to focus on, 6 goals in 12 games. For him, he'll be the biggest threat out of the lot. But that's their team for anyone who was wondering. On our subs bench, we've got Bayandere, Malacia, Shaw, Mainu, Mount, Ugarte, Anthony, Hoyland, Xerxes, which is a pretty strong bench, to be fair.
Yeah.
We
You know,
have
if
two
you could
left
bring...
backs on the bench.
Who's that, sorry?
Yay!
We have 2 left backs on the bench.
I know, crazy, absolutely
Wow.
crazy. Let's see how long they last. That's more of the point. Yeah, one thing I looked at that stood out for me, boys, and look, I'm very comfortable with Johnny Evans being in the team, and it depends where he is. But if he is on that left side, I know he's more than competent on the ball, but in terms of channel defending, if Ipswich get a quick kind of transition or overload a certain area, would that worry any of you at all?
No, not really. Personally, no. Because I think even if they actually try and overload with a back 5 system, I think Casemiro will be deployed to, function in that department. If Evans is actually starting on that left or right hand side, I think Casemiro will be in charge of actually doing the cleanup work and, try and double down on whoever is playing on that side. I think Omari Hutchinson might drift away in that position, but if he does, I think they'll try and double down on the player who's trying to aggress forward. So I think in that sense, having Casemiro is quite important because he's smart enough to actually, know where to actually position himself while, you're being pressured by the opposition team. And I think having that sort of back three provides you with that sort of cover as well. I think there will be a very big shift in Casemiro's game. We'll not be seeing as many wild challenges as he was, making this past season or even the first few games of this season. I think it will be a lot more controlled. It will be a lot more organized as well. And I think when you're playing very compact, those sort of issues go away. So we need to see, how the spacing is in between the attacking line, the midfield line, and the defense line. Because if that is organized enough, you won't have as many issues when you're coming up against a team like Ipswich. If this was a game like against a team like Brentford, then I would be a lot more concerned. But I think against this sort of a lineup, I think it can hold.
Dan Shreyas mentions Casemiro there. He's had a proper turnaround, hasn't he, since the Liverpool game?
Yeah, definitely. He has stood up whatever the chances has been provided to him, and he was benched there in that during that phase also. So that I think that has built some fire in him inside him to just show up something. Because normally, I mean, kind of, it's just my thought. Like when you are like kind of end of your career or in the later stages of your career, you don't put in shifts that much. You just play it safe and all. But now when we see him playing now after that Liverpool game, I think it's totally different from the last 2 years as well. So I think now he's like kind of he wants to show something that he's trying to prove something on the pitch, and that's really well for us, and that's actually has got him the place in this team today. Otherwise, definitely Ugarte or Maino could have been started this game. So I think that's even good for us, and especially with all the abilities of him, like he has the ability of passing, playing ground passes well, and playing the high crosses, and also the long shots and the headers. So all these abilities, if he is on the top of his level on his day, so that can really help us in, I mean, even scoring goals through him. So that's really well. But only thing is like his positioning, that's going to be very crucial, because when your wing backs are going ahead of the pitch, and suddenly if you lose the ball, then it's on the midfielders who has to take others' position. So I think that will be the key for today's game, because this is the first game in this formation. So I think there will be kind of players will take some time to get into this formation. So that's where the midfield have to step up and take the other players' position when they are out of position.
Yeah, we've got a load of quotes coming in from the manager, which we'll get into in a moment, and there's loads of other stuff that I want to talk about as well. I'm just going to go to the comment section. Kirk Howcroft saying, I have no argument with the back three. It's Ericsson in the midfield that's really confused me. Rashford starting shite. That's from Lewis. I was hoping Conconke on the bench, especially because we've got no centre-back on the bench. That's an interesting one, isn't it? Yeah. There was the news that he was with the team, so I'm not sure what's happened there. But yeah, Shaw, you was going to mention, right? Can play there. Yeah, absolutely. If he's, I mean, how long has he got in his system though? 10, 15 minutes. So
if he comes in, and then he gets injured again.
I'm just hoping he gets his warm-up done properly.
Yeah. Yeah, just don't force him back if he don't need to be. Do you know what I mean? Hopefully, we won't have the results of that to bring in on a defender. Fingers crossed. So, Louis saying Rashford will play like prime Ronaldinho for the rest of the season. New manager, then be shit again next season. McMillan with a slightly different take saying Rashford in this system running the channel will be fantastic. Paul Warby saying I'm happy to see Rashford up top. This has to be the best position for him. I'm surprised at that. I'm not as
Yeah,
confident about that
I am
personally, but
concerned. I am genuinely
yeah, I'm
concerned
more
about
concerned,
Rashford's
if
future in
anything.
this system because this is the only place he can play.
Yeah. I mean, I'm open to it. Look, it's a new lease of life. It's a new team. It's a new manager. So I have no kind of pre-existing judgments whatsoever. I want to see how it clicks and how each player operates, because I've just seen Sky Sports release a graphic and it's got Mazraoui at left wing back and Dallo as the
Yeah,
right centre back. So you just don't know, do you?
Anything can happen.
Exactly. Chewy saying, I think we'll see Dallo being a bit more defensively aware on the left-hand side. A lot of people familiar with Amorim's game at Sporting often say that one wing-back is usually more defensive aware, which we did slightly touch on. But in general, look, Shreyas, Amorim's first game, regardless of whatever way he sets up or whatever way he plays, you want a result. You want a big result. And
Oh,
with the
yes.
games that we've got coming up next, we've got Bodo Glimt and we've got Everton. So if you get a win here, the chance for that momentum to start climbing up the table can be very quick.
Yeah, look, we've already been unbeaten in like the last 3 or 4 games. We've been picking up some really good results, and if under Amorim we can continue that, I'm not saying that this is first game. He needs to like beat Ipswich 4 or 5-0. That's genuinely not what I'm expecting. I just want a good performance. Like if it's like a 2-0 win or a comfortable 2-1 win, I'll genuinely take that. And if we can carry that form into the upcoming fixtures in the Europa League as well as the league, I think that's all what any United fan wants at the moment. That we actually get a run together, get some consistent wins together, go climb up the table, because every single team for that matter right now is dropping points. No one is consistent enough to actually take advantage of the fact that the others are dropping points. And right now, if we can climb up the table, like 2 wins and we might be in the top 4.
Yeah.
Genuinely, with the way things are looking right now. So we just need to get some consistency in, and you can just see the entire narrative around United will completely change. We are supposed to be having one of our worst starts in Premier League history, but we're still 4 points off top 4. So just we just need like 2 to 3 wins on a consistent basis, and things will completely change around the club.
Yeah, I think you had Aston Villa drop points against Crystal Palace, didn't you? You had obviously Manchester City drop points. Liverpool currently drawing with Southampton 2-2 at the minute because Mohamed Salah scored. But you have had, I think, Chelsea won, Arsenal won, Tottenham won. And then, there's a couple of others. So important to kind of capitalise when you have this run of fixtures coming up, absolutely. But yeah, look, we were discussing the Premier League being more open than ever, Dan. I know it's very, very early days, but if Amorim can get going, are you a lot more optimistic about maybe pushing towards that kind of top 4?
Yeah, definitely. The team is there. The youth system is there. I mean, we have the players with high potential. So, like in all the areas, even the attacking thing and the defenders, we have the midfielders are there who are kind of in their early 20s, and we have the potential for the future. So, I think if Amorim can pull this off, and then definitely we can be challenging for the top 4 at least for the next season. Maybe not for the title, but at least for the 4th place or 3rd place. But yeah, I think again this has to be. I mean, the players' support would be very key in this, because with the previous managers we have seen that the players have put their managers under the bus. So that should not happen in this case. So I think if this happens again with this manager, I think the whole team needs to clear out. So I think this. But yeah, I think with all the past history of Amorim, I think he can pull this off with this. The expectation is not that high because we know that where we stand, but at least we need, at least I think for me, I mean, the average expectation for me now is like at least we qualify for Europa League or maybe Champions League. So from this point, so my expectations are not that high, but at least for this moment, just to have a stepping stone for this season to do some wonders in the next season. So I think the stage is set for Amorim because there is no way to go down from this. So the only way is up. And yeah.
Never say that.
Yeah, never. You can always get lower, believe me. But the general consensus is that you can pick up points against these teams that are coming up. Ipswich and Everton, with all due respect, are near the bottom of the table. Bodo Glimt, I imagine, are probably like 78 in the coefficient ranking in Europe. So you should be going to beat them, especially with the players coming back now. I've just spoken about the bench there, Shreyas. Malacia Shaw, Mainu, Mount, Ugarte, Anthony, Højlund, Xerxes. That's probably about £250 million worth of talent, if not more. Who, when all of them are fit and available, who do you think definitely forces the way back into this team? And you can throw Euro in that as well.
Euro will definitely be in. There's no doubt about it. taking Euro out of the equation, I would say Mount. If he
Mm.
stays fit, he'll definitely make his way into this team for sure. I don't even doubt it. Then Hoyland as well. I think once Hoyland gets going in this system, he'll be a very, very difficult striker to stop, because once he actually starts getting some service and actually, starts getting some, the ball to his feet in and around the box and not on the halfway line, that's when you'll actually see the best, the best out of Rasmus Hoyland. So Hoyland, Mount could definitely be in there. Euro, Menu as well could make a case for himself. And I would say more than anyone, I think Shaw as well. Shaw and Mount could actually make themselves very, very important in this sort of system. And Shaw, whether it's as a left back or even as a left centre back, can do a very big, job for us in this season. The only one I'm concerned about, I would say, is Zuxi, because I still don't understand as to how he'll fit in, whether he'll fit in as one of the 10s, whether he'll fit as a striker. That's a big doubt.
Well, he's got to fit in his kit first, according to Neil Custard, who was reporting that he's overweight, but that's a different story. Right, there is a comment in Japanese, and I've just translated it, and it says, I'm really looking forward to Amorim's first appearance. So, yeah, I'll just see what we can do there. Just because you've put something, in Japanese, don't mean we can't read it out. I don't know if you understood that, what I've just said, but... The thoughts there. Paul Walby saying, the days of saying we should be beating them have gone at United. I can never predict how well we play anymore. Yeah, you're not the only one, brother. Ugarte must still be knackered after the international break. Look, but it's like we all said with Donny in it. Do you remember when Eric Ten Hag was coming in? It was like, oh, Donny's going to get fucking loads of minutes now. He's going to be a first-team player.
It's a different case.
Yeah, I know, I get that. Different players and different times and stuff, but it was just funny, wasn't it? Because all of us, I remember saying, like, there's no way this guy's brought Donny up through the ranks. Is his, person, and he's coming and just didn't really use him at all. And everyone was like, oh, maybe not then. Who knows? But obviously, Ugarte was brought in for a lot of money, like 50, 60 million pound. He's worked with him before. I'd be even more astonished if he didn't use Ugarte in that midfield. But I'm guessing it will be things to do with international break. One thing that you miss a lot for when you've been off for 2 weeks or whatever, especially with a new coach coming in, three red flags I'm looking at is, one, rhythm and tempo, because I feel like new system being introduced, players who are just coming back from injury, players who might not have played as much in the past couple of weeks, like Christian Eriksen. Yeah. I think rhythm and tempo might be a little bit off, and it might take him a while to kind of click. People in new positions, getting used to it. Ahmad could get done at a certain point, or Dalot could get done. Like, there are things to worry about. I don't think it's going to be all rainbows and unicorns heading into this fixture. And of course, Ipswich themselves, lads, have just beat Tottenham, who have just beat City and have just beat Aston Villa. So they're not a bad team. Is there a case of maybe over doing this a little bit with the new manager and all this positivity?
Yeah, I think with the first game, I think anything can happen, because nobody knows what's up ahead of us today. So it's kind of a puzzle box. Like, when you open it, you'll then only will come to know how we are playing on the pitch. And even Ipswich will be kind of they are good known for for playing good against the better teams. So now the point is whether we are called as better team or not. So I think. Yeah, so it's kind of every game with Ipswich is kind of random games. So you don't know what the results are. So I think they can still hurt us in many areas, because this is kind of a new system, and every player are playing in the new system here. So I think we should not let it go. Like, we should not be that confident. Overconfident with it. Maybe just control the game, just keep the ball with ourselves, and just try to make a pass, and just try to make simple passes, and try to make simple moves. So that's what I expect. Only this thing from the new manager, like, let the player and make the player play football in a simple way. That's all I demand from this manager.
Simplicity is your best friend. With everything so new and shiny, I absolutely agree with that. Mo Salah's just scored again, by the way, so they're winning 3-2. So they're there's already top, but
he's my captain in FPL.
Yeah, don't tell people that, Dan. Don't worry about that. Right, so quotes coming in from the manager, Shreyas. Asked what he expects from United today. He says, a first win. We have to be patient, but we know we have to win matches. We will change some things, but not too much. A first victory, and I will be a happy man. I'm a different person on match day, a little anxious. I don't know what to expect. It's a new life. Let's start with the little details. Yeah, he comes across very well in press conferences. He's obviously very charismatic, communicates very well. But again, it's that little thing in the back of your mind saying, like, we've seen these players when a new manager does come in, they do start to turn up and they all smell great and they're wearing Creed aftershave and they're wearing the new jeans and everything's all great. And then, like, 6 months down the line, Amorim's got no hair left and he's fucking like, I have no idea what's going on. So he needs to be careful in that sense, doesn't he? But he's obviously a smart man.
Yeah, and look, it's already a breath of fresh air. A manager isn't saying trophies after every single question in the press conference, so he's already won me over.
Yeah.
He's already won me over in that department. But yeah, look, the thing is, I'm sure the manager has done his homework on this team as well, because as you know, with the move that Amorim has made, I'm sure he's seen into this team and actually seen what type of what players has survived every single manager and are still sticking around the club, and what players that he can actually bank on and expect to turn up for him every single week. And with the way he's made his choices in this game as well, I'm sure that if Rashford doesn't perform as well, he's going to give chances to other other players who are represented at the club. You've already got Xerxes, you've also got the likes of Rasmus Højlund who can play in that department, so he has options. And I would say there are a lot of players in this team who don't fit that profile. I think a lot of those players who you would say that a new manager comes in, has you see them playing a lot better for like 3 to 4 months, and then they once again fall back into the same old tricks again. But I think Casemiro and Eriksen are a lot different in that way. Dalot is a bit different in that way, I would say as well. Same goes for the entire backline, because once again, these are all Ten Hag players, mostly the ones that we've gotten right now. I would say the only ones who have survived that from that manager to manager change, Rashford and maybe Maguire and Shaw. I think those three. Apart from that, every single one of them is pretty much a fresh face, barring Bruno. But the case with Bruno is a lot different. So you can only list down like 3 to 4 players. Apart from that, it's a brand new team. So I'm a lot more confident. And I'm sure that, with the kind of manager that Amorim is, he's going to be making maybe a lot of tough calls within his first few months itself to get, after which we'll actually understand what he visualizes as his strongest 11 on paper.
Those players you just mentioned, though, Kieran McKenna obviously knows them, doesn't he? Knows them very well. He may actually know, Dan, some of the players better than Amorim does, because obviously he's only just come in. And we know with Ipswich, they like to play expansive football. They throw numbers into the box. They're going to want to cause an upset on a day like this, aren't they?
Of course.
Yeah, definitely. So it's it can also turn out into some that kind of a game where we have like kind of a more 20 plus attempts and we still do not have a goal in. But yeah, I think Amorim has chosen this lineup just to show the young players like how I am going to play in this system.
Yeah.
So that's why he has chosen Eriksen and Casemiro to show the young players like Kobe Mino and Ugarte like how I'm this is my vision and this you should play like, because both Eriksen and Casemiro are 32 plus, so I think they are not the future of the club at this point. So I think they are just trying to, kind of giving a handshake to the young players and to show how they are going to play. But yeah, this can go in different directions, because they are normally the lower table teams. They are more leaning. They lean more towards high defending, like putting more numbers on the defense, and it becomes difficult for the opponent team to score. And especially with us, when we are playing against the low block team, then definitely we have struggled in all those areas to create chances and kind of finish those chances. But if we score early, that's better for us. If we win, we have to win this game in the first half.
Yeah. Do you think McKenna might struggle a little bit because it's a new manager, Shreyas, tactically?
You never know what's going to be in store for you whenever you're coming up against United. So the thing is, with the type of football he plays, there are going to be a lot of issues for his team itself, because he doesn't have, I would say, that sort of quality to make up for the mistakes that will surely happen when you're playing expansive football. You need those sort of positionally aware defenders. You need that sort of instinctive midfielders as well, who know what position to occupy when you're being pressured. So in that department, they do lack. But he knows that teams, I wouldn't say United at the moment, because I don't know how we're going to be playing in this game, whether we'll be playing on the front foot and trying to aggress a lot within the first half itself, or we'll try and let Ipswich Town grow into the game and then hit them on the counter. So that is something that we still have to see. But apart from United, if you look at the other big teams that they've played up until now, they've been trying to match them foot for foot. no matter which team they've been coming up against. So it is going to be an exciting game for sure, because you wouldn't see a team that, even if they concede 2 or 3, their heads drop down. Like I've seen them fighting even when they concede 3 or 4 goals. So that's a very good thing to see in a team that's just been promoted and still trying to do whatever they can do on the pitch. And it does, you can see that sort of fire in those players. So considering it's a new manager, considering it's United, I think they'll, all of those players and especially the manager as well, they love this opportunity, because that even if they don't win, they go out and give a very good performance.
I'm just looking at the odds on Marcus Rashford to score a hat-trick, 66-1. So if you was to bang a tenner on that, which I'm not encouraging betting, but I'm just saying if, in a hypothetical world, if you was,
are you going to?
You'd get, I might, you get you get £670
In the middle of the
back.
game, in the middle of the game, you will see Nick posting them for
Oh yes, if it happens.
Yeah. Something to consider, I suppose. Even if you put a 5, I nearly did it then by accident. Even if you put a 5 on it, you get 325 quid back. I think that's worth it for a Rashford hat trick. If he's playing as that kind of getting in behind, channel runner, new manager, we've seen it before. I think that's worth a punt. But anyway, go on. What did you say?
Yeah, I think much safer to just see this first game and actually see if it is worth it to bank on Rashford or not.
Yeah. Ruben Amorim, some more quotes coming in, and getting his message across to the players and how he's done it. So it's not difficult, and that is the key point, the time that we have to train. So I try to put the players that I have more time to train, and we will start in this way because we need to train, we need to pass the information on. So that makes sense. Some of the lads, they just have one training session. One training session is not enough, so I want my players comfortable, and it'll be time for everyone during the sequence of games. I think that's an important point, because people might be looking at this lineup now and they might be like, is that how we're going to do? Is that where everyone's going to be playing? Listen, after a couple of weeks, I don't think it'll look anything like that, to be honest with you. Legit, yeah. I honestly don't. So, yeah, he's using that for his first game, but that doesn't mean it's going to be it. We do have our... Is that first sacking of the season, boys? Leicester City just sacked Steve Cooper. Is that the first manager to go, that?
No, our manager was the first to go.
Oh, fucking hell, yeah. Wow. I've just had the biggest blonde moment ever. Completely, like, we're just literally talking about Amorim in his first game. And I'm like, is that the first manager to get sacked? Fucking hell. Wait, so how many managers have been sacked this season? 2, right? So it's just Ten Hag and now Sneeze Cooper. Right, okay.
Never liked him anyway.
Yeah, well, yeah, we've said our thoughts on Mr. Sneeze, haven't we? Yeah, so I can't believe I completely forgot about that. I'm so into this new Ruben Amorim era now. I just completely forgot we got rid of a manager this
that
season.
He was always there.
Crazy. Right, let's get into these score predictions then, lads. Give me, Dan, I'll go to you first. Give me something you can see happening in this game, and give me your score prediction as well. Dan.
I said 2-1 in the before show. I think I'll stick with that. I think Rashford and Garnacho scoring the goals, and it's going to be a tight game. Maybe finishing in the second half, we'll score a winner.
You think it's going to be tight and cagey?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I hope not.
Yeah.
I really hope not, but yeah.
I've seen enough of that. I'll go 3-1 to United. I think Ipswich will score, because I think every single game in their home stadium, they managed to get 1 goal at least. So I expect them to get a goal, but I think that we'll end up getting the win. I think Bruno will score, Garnacho will score, and Johnny Evans will score today.
Johnny Evans. What are the odds on? You might well go put a tenner on that, mate, if you think Johnny Evans.
I've gone with Bruno and Garnacho before the stream. I just edited it from Hoyland.
Okay.
I hope it's not the game like you have seen Shaolin Soccer, their first game.
Yeah. The power shots to the goalkeeper. Like, oh. UTFR 1-1. I'm worried. Ugate's not playing due to 1 day's training, and he's going forward at the back. Amorim saying he's not making massive changes, just little ones. Tell you what, lads, I'm nowhere near as confident as I was before. I saw the starting 11 and I'm worried. My Nan has a better engine than Ericsson. I'm off to the bookies. Yeah, look, I'm trying to not encourage betting, but look, I'm just saying it's one of those games where it's wild. Something crazy could be happen. If you're going to ever put a time on where something crazy could happen to put a bet on, now would be the time. It's a new manager. It's a new game. Ipswich could beat us 3-0. We could win 6-1. Like, it could be absolute chaotic. So
Onana could score.
Onana could score, could get an assist. You never really know, do you? But in terms of prediction, oh man, this is a mad one, isn't it? I think I can't remember what I did in the preview. Dan, did I say 3-1? What is it?
Yeah, I think you said 3-1.
Nick
I
went
said
positive.
3-1. Yeah, I can see us getting a couple of goals. I don't think it'll be easy. They might be tight at first, like a 1-1 or 2-1, but then I think we'll start to kind of breed in confidence, and I think we'll get the third. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But
Who
I
gets the
suppose
yellow card for us? Who gets
for
the yellow
us,
card? Yeah.
let me have a look at that lineup. I mean, Casemiro's your banker, innit? But
Very
for
first
sure,
minute.
yeah, easy. I mean, Basuma in the game yesterday against Springer, he
Yeah.
got the quickest yellow card, didn't he? Rapid.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I think Evans could depending on where he is. If he's quite isolated in that channel, and yeah, I could just Evans or Casemiro, I would say, are the bankers. But that and Rashford score a hat trick must be about 100 to 1, so you could quite literally win £1,000 off a tenner. Use promo code Nick, get 20% off.
We still don't promote betting though.
Yeah, we don't promote. I've said it about a million times. We don't promote betting. But anyway, right, lads. We shall leave the lovely people to go and watch the game. Usually we go for an extra 10 minutes, but I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be absolutely transparent with the viewers. I'm going to the pub to watch this game, and I'm going to go and enjoy it. So hopefully everyone else enjoys it. We get a big win in Amorim's first game. Up the fucking Reds. Big up to Dan. Big up to Shreyas. And yeah, we'll see you after it for the post-match review. Hopefully we're all gleaming and smiling and buzzing about a 4-0 win. Yeah?
Yeah.